there, welcome back. Here on my channel, I talk tons about decluttering your home, how to live clutter-free. But today I want to talk about 25 things I think you should not declutter from your space. I like having a life reserve. These are 25 things that I like to keep as backups in case something gets broken, lost, or if I have company. So these are things that I've thought really carefully about and things that I think could be super helpful to somebody who's worried about decluttering something they might need later. You don't need to keep a backup of everything in your space, but there are a few things that I think having a backup of can be incredibly useful. So I also like to say, don't go beyond this size of a bin. If you're going beyond this, you might be keeping too much. This is not meant to be storage. This again is a life reserve. Write it on the side of your tub. Life reserve. These are things that you might need as a backup. So anyway, get a bin the size you're comfortable with. This is what bin works great for me, and I will not let it overflow. What fits in here is what stays. So anyway, thank you for being here. Let's go ahead and talk about the 25 things I think you should not declutter from your space. Let's hop right in. All right, some of you might be thinking, oh no, I've already decluttered this stuff. I don't have a backup of this. I'm just living with what I use. You know what? That is okay. If you are gifted any of these things, go ahead and put the old one in the reserve. If you get a new bowl as a Christmas gift, put your old bowl in the reserve, if that makes sense. So there are ways that you can kind of accumulate a backup reserve. Even if you've already gotten rid of this stuff, you can find almost everything on this list. At the thrift store, you can shop really affordably there and find the things that you need really like economically and thoughtfully. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into this bin. The first thing is I say have a backup of a pillow. I've had to get rid of pillows before. I've had to recycle the materials because our pillows have gotten stained to the point that I cannot return. There's no going back. It is completely stained. Also, whenever I have company, it is really, really nice to have an extra pillow. So I say keep one extra of these. Going along with that, I think you should have an extra blanket. I will never forget the Christmas that I bought a brand new throw blanket and my son got a bloody nose all over it. It was so unfortunate. So things happen to your blankets. They can get ripped, they can get stained, worn out, whatever. And so I think having a backup just for your own life, and then again for company. This is a throw blanket, but having like an extra quilt, something that could actually go on a bed, maybe a lightweight comforter, something like that, I think could be really useful. And if you haven't decluttered all of this stuff yet, and you've got, let's say, 5 or 6 extra things, which is where I was when I started this decluttering process, pick your favorite or pick whatever's in the best shape to put in your life reserve, in your backup. So that's kind of how you choose. What is in the best shape, or what do I like the best? I have talked so much about only having one set of sheets per bed. I stand by this. I love having just one set of sheets in the house, the main living area. I don't have any linens in my linen cupboard. So what I do recommend though is having a backup in your life reserve of a sheet. One sheet per bed shape, I guess, or per bed size. So I would have a backup of a king and a backup of a twin. I have 2 twin beds, but I'm not going to keep 2 sheets. I have had family members come to stay and I've used an extra sheet to go over the couch. That is one way that I can use it. They're also really fun for kids' forts. so fun to play with. And then of course sheets can rip and stain. So I have actually had to get rid of a sheet with a huge hole in it, like our foot went through it. I have no idea how this happened, but it did. It's just nice to have a backup, but I don't think you need to have an extra set of sheets in the main part of your house for everybody's bed that you rotate on a regular basis. This is literally just a backup in case something happens to the ones that you have in your main living area. All right, going along with linens, I love having an extra towel, again, for company. And my husband's beard dye has stained a couple of our towels. So I have actually this is the stained towel, okay? Here's an example of what can happen. So this towel I can still use. I can kind of hide the stain. But if I have company and I need an extra towel, because we only have like a certain number of towels in our main living space, it's nice to have. And then if one gets like really damaged where I can't hide a stain, or it's totally worn out, frayed with holes, then I can go into my backup and not to Target and spend more money. So that's the whole point here. So I like having an extra towel. I have noticed that things in the kitchen seem to break and get ruined fairly often. We're careful with our stuff, just like you are, I'm sure, but it happens, especially if you live with kids. We like to have 2 dishes per member of the family. So 2 bowls, 2 plates, 2 glasses. That's kind of the number where I feel comfortable, where the dishes don't get out of control, but everybody always has something clean. But we've broken several. We've broken so many. So to have a backup of your matching dish sets is really, really handy. And again, you don't have to overfill your cupboards. Don't like smash everything in there, like stuff your cupboards full just to keep these extra ones. No, they don't need to be in your main living space, just like the sheets, the towels, the extra pillow. These don't need to be taking up breathing room in your house. So anyway, an extra glass, an extra bowl, an extra plate. And I've mentioned this before, I love, love, love white. It just goes with everything. I can dress it up or down for different holidays, so I love that. Okay, I only have 1 set of cooking utensils in my kitchen, but when it gets to be the holidays and I've got people here, which is amazing, and helping me in the kitchen, I need an extra. I need an extra set of each. So having this in my life reserve is incredibly useful, but I only use an extra set around the holidays, so I keep them in my cupboard. They go in the bin. So that's just how you're gonna be thinking about this. I definitely feel like having an extra set, especially if you cook, if you host, if you celebrate holidays, I think it is really, really handy. I adore these ceramic bowls. I've had different colored ones. My favorite is white just because it goes with everything. It looks so pretty, but I love these. They break because I use them often. I actually got rid of one recently because it had a huge crack, and then I realized this one has a huge crack as well. So this one has to go. I actually didn't have a backup bowl in my life reserve, so I do have to go out and buy a new one. But I love having a backup bowl that you can either use for serving or mixing, just because they can break, especially if you're like me and you love to use ceramic. Maybe it's time to rethink the ceramic bowl and go with something else. I think you should have a backup of a 9 by 13. I think that's what the dimensions of this one are. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think this is a 9 by 13. I love having an extra one of these. These are so handy because you can put them in the oven, or you can use them as a serving dish. I could do kind of like a charcuterie board with something like this. It does not have to be a flat wooden cutting board. You know, you can get creative with the stuff you have. I could use this for pretty much anything. So having an extra one of these is really nice. And again, on the holidays, when you're baking and cooking extra, it's really, really nice to have more than one. I also think you should have a reserve or a backup of a, what is this called? Can opener. Guys, how have I lost these before? I don't know, but I have. I've lost these. And then if you put them through the dishwasher by accident, they rust. So that is where having an extra one of these comes in handy. Also, if you don't have one, there's no getting around it. You're not getting in the can. So it's nice to have an extra one. Do you have a hand-operated can opener, or do you have an electric one? Let me know. Extra dish towels. These, again, get so used that they relatively quickly wear out. And I am a huge believer in wearing things out. Why not? Why not use things until they are totally done? but having an extra set or an extra at least one dish rag, especially one that's nice. This one's not in great shape, but it works perfectly fine and it's not stained. So having an extra one of these is really nice in case you do end up having to recycle one because it gets totally ruined. But I only say this because you use it so often. And then also dish rags, I should mention that as well. If you have extras and you're decluttering your house, go ahead and put a couple in a life reserve bucket because mine wear out pretty quickly, again, just because I'm using them every single day. An extra spatula can be so handy. I actually broke one of mine and thankfully had this backup because sometimes you just have to have a spatula to get things to work right in the kitchen. So I love having a backup spatula. I like this one a lot, especially for pancakes, but I also like to have a metal topped one just because it's nice for like breaking up ground beef when I'm making spaghetti. But I like to have a backup spatula. I've snapped these before. Again, they're just things that can break and things that I use all the time. Pizza cutter, wooden spoon. Having a backup of this can be really nice just because these I like to use for cutting crusts off of sandwiches. Obviously, I use them to cut pizza, and so they're just really, really handy. And to not have one, if something were to happen, sort of break, which it could, happen, then I would be in a pickle if I didn't have a backup. So again, guys, can you just see like finding all this stuff at a thrift store? I mean, this is the kind of stuff I see there all the time. So again, don't run out and buy things brand new. This is so affordable to do if, again, you've already gotten rid of all this stuff. Okay, just had to say that again. But another thing is a wooden spoon. I love cooking with these. I just think it's really nice. And if you actually lay it over a boiling pot, it won't boil over. Really, really handy to have. And again, I've broken them before. So having a backup is awesome. Then, guys, we're almost done. Have a pair of scissors. I've lost scissors. I've broken scissors. My scissors have gone dull. They've gotten ruined. So having a backup pair of scissors is absolutely amazing. I use them in the kitchen, in the office, to cut fabric. An extra phone charger. I love decluttering cords. I think cord clutter, woo, it really gets to me. It really bothers me. So I like to just have whatever, one cord and one charger, whatever goes with what we have. However, I don't know about you, but these have stopped working for me before. So I really recommend having a backup, especially one that can go in the car or go in your house depending on, depending on where you need it. So keep an extra charger for whatever phone you have. Sunglasses, I'm not showing mine because I lost them. And here is my perfect example of where this comes in super handy. But have a backup pair of sunglasses. If you have several pair and you're wanting to narrow it down, just stick one in your life reserve. Do you lose your sunglasses like I do? I don't know where they go. I really don't know, but I don't have any right now. And I'm just hoping mine turn up because I didn't have a backup of mine. So have a backup pair of sunglasses. I think it would be really, really useful. All right, so these little travel size things that I feel like are under every sink, every bathroom sink, at least mine. When I went to declutter underneath my bathroom sink, there were so many little travel size shampoo, conditioner, soap, toothpaste, extra toothbrushes. All of this stuff is obviously consumable, so really nice to have a backup of. But I wanted to mention making a little visitor's basket. When you have company, you can set all of these things out in a little basket and just write a note, help yourself, and they can have whatever they need right there. So that's a really, really fun way to utilize all these extra little like toiletries that are consumable, instead of getting rid of a bunch of them or donating them to a friend or neighbor. Keep an extra one of everything so you can make one of these little visitor baskets. I think that's really, really fun. Okay, there is one more thing in this bin. Can you guess what it is? Write me a comment right now. You do not even have to pause this video. Write me a comment of what you think our very, very last item is. Like, what am I missing? What did I forget? A journal or a notebook. These, if you're like me and you handwrite everything, I don't take notes on my phone. I don't have like note storage on my computer, none of that. I journal with a pen and a paper, and I take a ton of notes. So it's going to be really handy for me when my notebooks are all filled up or my journal is all filled up to have an extra one. So again, if I have a few, keep my favorite. I love this one and put it in here so that when I am ready, I can come grab it from my life reserve and I don't have to go buy a new one. But again, if you've already decluttered yours, see if you can find one secondhand that has all the pages still in it. That is it. That is what is in my life reserve, the things that I think are so useful to have a backup of. But let me know what you think might also be included in a list like this of things that you can fit into a storage tub that would be really, really beneficial to have a backup of. Thank you so much for being here. Please hit subscribe on your way out, and I'll see you soon. Bye.